Good morning, and we are live. I'm excited. We're going to talk about a little bit of history today. Tell you a really good story. You're going to love it. It ties into what's going on in the news right now. So you're going to have to be patient with me. I promise you this. It's going to be an interesting story. It's going to be the Cliff's Notes version. We're not going to go deep into history, so I'll make your eyes glaze over. It's really fascinating, and you're going to love it. So let's just dig right in. Let's do this. All right, folks, today's show is powered by Pete's Holiday Blend. It was mailed to me by a couple of you in the audience. You're so generous, so grateful. It was Josh and Tara. Thank you so much. I got it. It's amazing. It's really good. Folks, if y'all haven't been trying the Pete's stuff out, try it. Try it. Pete's Coffee. Look it up online. You can order it online. Thank you, Josh and Tara. I really appreciate you. Okay, let's dig into this. We're going to do a little history today. I know everybody hates history. Y'all all slept through history. Everybody slept through history. But no, this is really fascinating. This is actually more interesting. There's two kinds of history, folks. There's two kinds of history. There's the history that you tell the populace, and then there's the history where like historians actually study history, and those two things rarely, if never, comport. They're not the same thing. No, George Washington didn't chop down a cherry tree. No, he didn't have wooden false teeth. No, Benjamin Franklin did not fly a kite into a storm that was struck by lightning to prove that lightning was electricity. If that had happened, he would have died. And we know he didn't die because he wrote a book, because while that was not true, what is true is that he wrote a book, a treatise, I should say, on farting. Yeah, it's called Fart Freely. I'm not kidding. One of Benjamin Franklin's most popular books at the time. He said, holding gas in is bad for you. Don't do it. I would argue, but hey, there you go. I have no idea how we got here. Yeah. Okay. So look, history. Fascinating history, real history versus what we're taught. And the reason we're going to talk about it is this whole saga, if you will, is very similar to something that's going on right now that's really important. And, references everything. So this is who we're going to talk about first. This guy right here, late 1400s, 1500s. A lot of you will recognize him the minute I pull his picture up. I love how smart you people are. Who is this guy? While I take a sip of coffee, somebody in the chat tell me, who is this guy? Bingo! I knew y'all would know. Dracula. Vladimir Dracula. Actually, Dracula. Yeah, that's the real guy behind the legend of Dracula. And he was a real guy. He was a really real guy. Yes, and his name was Vlad the Impaler. Vlad the Impaler. First of all, how did he get his name? When you think, and here's another one. This is just going to show history versus reality. Where do y'all think Vlad is from? Where do y'all think Vlad is from? Where does all the legend and everybody tell you where is Vlad from? Well, I knew some of y'all would know the right answer, but no, Transylvania. Everybody says it's Transylvania. That's where all the right. No, he wasn't from Transylvania. He was from Wallachia. Where you people and most people don't know what the hell Wallachia is, but no, it was part of Romania. That's right. That's right. You people. I love spending time with you people. I love spending time with you people. Anyways, okay, so that's Vlad the Impaler. Let's talk about it. First of all, how did he get his name? Vladimir Dracula. That wasn't his. He wasn't born with that name. His father was part of an order called the Order of the Dracul. Dracul meaning dragon. It also has another meaning, devil or demon. But when they used it, they meant it as dragon. Order of the Dragon. Okay, cool, right? I mean, and his dad, no shit guy, man. So the Ottomans don't want to really fight his dad. He is Vladimir Dracul. They don't really want to fight him. So they figured out through a little bribery that Vlad and his brother Radu would be riding through the countryside, and they kidnapped him. And they said, okay, look, you're going to stay the leader of Wallachia. And this is Wallachia, by the way. This is Wallachia. This is ancient Wallachia. So you know where we're talking about here. So you have Wallachia here. You've got, there's Targovista and Bucharest, Transylvania, Moldavia, Poland's up here, and the Ottoman Empire. This is Bulgaria, modern Bulgaria down here, okay? We're talking about real history here, not the made-up vampire stuff. And I'm going to tell you where that came from, too, because it's part of this whole real history versus fake history and how we get where we are. Anyways. So look, they kidnap Vlad and his brother, right? They force his dad to fall under their influence, which causes the Hungarian Empire to turn against him, and they support his opposition. Now, inside Wallachia and Transylvania, there are two major powers. One is run by Vlad, and one is run by the Leotas, which are their opposition. That's inside Wallachia. Now, outside Wallachia, you have two superpowers. And it's going to start sounding really familiar. Two superpowers vying over a region. Get what I'm laying down here? You've got the Hungarians. And most Americans, you mention Hungary, they don't think much of it because most of our reference about Hungary comes from the Soviet Empire era, the Soviet Union era, which Hungary wasn't really much of a power at the time. Hungary used to be badass. They were like a superpower. They were really wealthy, really good on the battlefield. That's where the old Austro-Hungarian Empire comes from, all of that. They were badasses. Then you had the Ottomans and the Ottoman Empire. They were freaking huge, man. They were massive. And you had these two empires, Europe and the Middle East, the Ottoman Empire, vying over this area. So, oh, well, thank you. They said, don't wear blue bracelets. I said, screw you. I'm going to wear a blue bracelet. I didn't vote for the rapist. That's what that bracelet means. So, and that's why I got my Harris Walls shirt on. So, you've got Vlad, dad. He's fallen under the control of the Ottomans because they kidnapped his kids. The Hungarians turn against him. They send a guy named John Hunyadi, and they depose his dad. They kill Vlad's older brother, and they put into power one of Vlad's cousins who is aligned with the Leotas, right? The other faction. Vlad tries to stop this. It doesn't work. He has the support of, now remember, he's working with the Ottomans now. They kidnapped him. They were his enemy. Now he's working with them, trying to overthrow his cousin, and he ends up failing and ends up going to Moldavia and around, and eventually he ends up getting arrested and this is the Cliff Notes version. All our European friends, they don't teach European history in the States, so I'm really running through this Cliff Notes. I know it's much more complex than this, so don't wrap my knuckles on this. The Hungarians end up arresting him, but the guy the Hungarians put into place, guy's a jerk. He's a jerk. Doesn't take 5 years, and the Hungarians are like, screw this guy. The The king of Moldavia writes a letter to the king of Hungary at the time, a guy by the name of Corvinus. And if you're into the whole vampire, you know the name Corvinus, Matthias Corvinus. It's all wrapped into the legend. But he was an actual king of Hungary. He was the son of John Hunyadi. He releases Vlad. And he releases Vlad because while Vlad is fighting, they figured out a couple things about Vlad. Vlad Dracula, or Vladimir Dracula. He's a psychopath, man. He is a straight up psychopath. That dude does some crazy. He earned the name Vlad the Impaler. And if you have delicate sensibilities, you're gonna want to like mute this next part. Where he got the name Vlad the Impaler. He ends up fighting for the king of Hungary. Okay. They fight the Ottomans down in Croatia and that region, and ends up taking over Wallachia again. And when he takes over Wallachia, he's like, all you rich sons of bitches that turned against my dad, you're going to pay. And then they were supported by the Saxons, the Germans. Had moved and settled in the Transylvania region. They had supported the other side. He plundered those villages. He captured those people. He brought them home, and they would go into the forest, and they would cut down trees that were about that big around. And this is where you better mute it if you've got delicate sensibilities. They would cut down trees that were about 14 to 18 feet tall. Remember, this is a forested region. I'll show you a picture of it here in a minute. Just beautiful. And this is before he did this to the Ottomans. He was doing this to his rivals at the time. They would take those trees and they would debark them, and they would sharpen one end to a point. Then they dig a hole in the ground. Then they would hold their enemy down, and they would shove that point up their enemy's butt. Yeah. Till they could get it deep enough that they could pick you up. And then they would faust you up on that petard and put it in the ground. And you were alive. That was not a terminal wound. It was incredibly painful, but not terminal. So you are stuck on top of this pole, shoved up your butt with a point, and you would over days slide slowly down this pole until you died. When I told you he was a psychopath, I meant it. He did this, history says, to roughly 5,000 people at the time. Just to prove, don't mess with me. Don't mess with me. Now, remember, when he did this, he has the support of the Hungarians. He makes friends with the Ottomans. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. The Hungarians turn against him. They depose him. The Leotas take charge. And when they're fighting him, they go to Vlad's little brother, Radu. And this is, again, Cliff's Notes. It's much more complicated than this. We're doing Cliff's Notes, okay? They go to his little brother, Radu, and say, you know what? You're Radu the Handsome. Everybody loves you. We don't want to fight you. You should be king, and we'll support you. The Hungarians are supporting him. The Ottomans are supporting Vlad. They end up defeating Vlad. Vlad runs and hides. Radu becomes king. They immediately kill Radu. It's like, no, dude, we're different factions, man. You're not going to be king. They kill Radu. Vlad comes back with the help of the Ottomans, deposes the Leotas, takes over Wallachia again. Takes over Wallachia. And this is what they're fighting for, folks. This is what they're fighting for. This is the southern Carpathian Mountains that edge the the Carpathian Forests and Plains, the Wallachian Plains. This is absolutely stunning. And as somebody who travels and sees things, this reminds me a lot of the California side of the Sierra Nevadas. Folks, this is gorgeous, and I promise you this picture doesn't do this 1/50th of the justice of what the place looks like. That's why the Carpathian Mountains is on my bucket list. I want to see the Dolomites, and I want to see the Carpathian Mountains. Because it is every picture you go see, you just Google after the show, Carpathian Mountains beautiful. It is freaking gorgeous, okay? So they're warring over this region. Vlad takes over again. And when he takes over again, bloody purges, yada, 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 gets his power. And the Ottomans say, you know what? Pay us. Frickin' pay us. You're a vassal of ours, pay us. And what does Vlad say? Not friends of my friends, not enemy, friends of my friend, enemy of my man. It never works out that way, folks. It's never the enemy of my enemy is my friend. It's not. It's we're friends right now. We're enemies tomorrow. We're friends again, and then we're enemies again, and we're friends again, and we're enemies again. And they end up deposing Vlad. But before they do, this happens. The Sultan of the Ottoman Empire decides, you know what? Screw it. I'm taking Hungary. I'm taking it all. And he starts to march through. And the Hungarians say, shit, I don't like this Vlad guy. He's an asshole. But he's a psychopath and he's good. So the Hungarians support Vlad. Enemy of my enemy is my friend, right? Vlad fights a battle of retreat. And remember, he's a psychopath. He poisons all the wells, poisons the fields, and is absolutely a psychopath and brutal and creates a literal forest. He's fighting an army. He's got 20 to 30,000 men. Some of them are boys, 20 to 30,000 men. He's fighting Mehmet, which has a professional army of some historians say 100,000, some historians say 200,000, but everybody agrees. Mehmet should have just wiped the floor with this guy. He should have. This should have been nothing. This is Vlad's home turf. He fights a war backing up, and every single place he fights, he hoists these people on petards. He does. And then finally, he drives into Mehmet's camp and tries to kidnap Mehmet. Fails. Is utterly backed up into Targovista, where they have cannons to support them. Yes, we're talking about this is Targovista. Let me pull up. Go to the map. This is Targovista. He gets all the way backed up into Targovista. This is Targovista. Here's Bucharest, Romania. This is the area we're talking about. This right up here, backed up to the mountains, is Targovista. They put on a last stand, and Vlad defeats Mehmet. But Mehmet at this point is like, screw this. This guy's a psycho. He almost captured me. I ain't doing this. I ain't doing this. This ain't worth it. I've changed my mind. I don't want Hungary. I don't want any of it. And he goes home. Not for good. So this is where I'm going to make the point of history. Okay, that's the story. We're done with all that. What's done with the story? Okay. Remember, there were two factions, right? Well, one of the factions was backed by the Saxons, the Germans. Well, what do you do when you're somebody's enemy? You write stories. And they talked about Vlad. They talked about, like I said, the best lies have a kernel of truth. They talked about their enemies. And they wrote stories about them. And then they took the other meaning of Dracula, which is demon. And they said, he works for Satan. Look at what he did. And out of it grew the stories of Vladimir Dracula. And that's what you pretty much will know, right? Well, to the folks in Romania, no. And when the Soviets took over, they loved to take people like the strongmen and make them heroes. In all of that part of Europe and Russia and Romania and all of that, he is a hero. According to them, if it hadn't been for Vlad, you would be Muslim. You would be Muslim right now. Because at the time that Mehmed was advancing, had he conquered Hungary, and this is true, this much of it is true, had he conquered Hungary at the time, he would have had trade centers, he would have had agricultural centers, and Europe didn't have its shit together at that point. They really didn't. He really didn't have their crap together at that point. And had Mehmed actually taken Hungary, yeah, they would have probably advanced through Europe. But that's a whole lot of what ifs, a whole lot of dominoes that would have had to fall. Because you get other historians that say, because look, this happened. This happened. This is only as far as they got. This is the Ottoman Empire. This is only as far as they got. Look, they made it through Vienna. They never made it past Vienna. You know, they tried to lay siege to Vienna and they failed, yada, yada, yada. So again, you've got history with people that actually study history competing with each other. But you get the common history where you got Vlad being called a damn vampire. You know what I'm saying? Are you getting what I'm laying down here? And really, there's kind of like a kernel of truth to it because, yeah, the Ottomans only got so far, but yeah, that was like 50 years later that they only got that far. By that point, Europe had gotten their shit together. You know, they threw the Muslims out of Spain. Yeah, the Muslims used to control Spain. All of North Africa and Spain, they had thrown them out of Spain. They had taken some of North Africa. They had really gotten themselves together so they were able to fight off the Ottoman Empire. 50 years earlier, maybe not. So the story of the reason you're not Muslim is because Vlad. Maybe. That's the best I can give you. Maybe. What's the point of all this? There's a couple points to it. One, when we look at modern events, don't look at them as a snapshot of what you think and know now. You've got your biases, your feelings. You know, when I talk about Hungary, most Americans think very poorly of Hungary. They do. They don't think much of it. It was once a golden empire. And while this was going on, they were incredibly powerful. It's complex. And these changes of alliances were happening year to year. So when we look at something going on now, remember, these alliances change quickly, very quickly. You have to look at these things as who does it serve now? Not in a greater picture of, oh, these people don't like these people and they fight each other. No. So when we talk about this next thing that we're going to talk about, which is Israel, and this happened. We've got several things to talk about. This is one of the things we're going to talk about today. Hezbollah and Israel are peace deals all but done. All but done. All but done. All right. Let's look at it. Let's look at it. Is it going to last? No, it's not. No, I'm just going to come out of the gate and I'm going to say no, it's not. It's not. It's just a rehash of an old peace deal. And Netanyahu can't survive peace. He can't. Hezbollah can't survive peace. He can't. So no, it's not going to last. But why? Why do it? Why now? Why do it, and why do it now? Well, this is why. This is why they're doing it. Syrian rebels claim to have entered the city of Aleppo. Remember, we talked about Syria before, and I told you it's been carved up basically into three chunks. You've got Hezbollah in the south, supported by the Russians and Iran. You've got the rebels in the north and the west. We have bases in north and the east, and we have bases in the eastern. I've shown you where those bases are before. Hezbollah can't fight a war on two fronts. They can't. They can't fight a war on two fronts. The rebels know this. So they've gone on the offensive, and they're going to take, they've already moved into Aleppo, and they're going to take Aleppo. The Russians are tied up in Ukraine. The Russians can't come to they can't save them. Bashar al-Assad has flown to Moscow. He's fled to Moscow. This is a very, very fluid situation. That's why we have a peace deal right now. Because of these crazy dynamics that are going on, and Hezbollah cannot fight a war on two fronts. They're basically just a beefed up terrorist organization. So why is Netanyahu doing it? It would be to his advantage to press this advantage. Yeah, Assad ran to Moscow. He is begging the Russians to intervene right now as we speak. But the Russians are tied up in Ukraine. Can they pull the resources? Will they pull the resources? I don't know. Well, one thing that can happen is Netanyahu can stop his assault, free up Hezbollah in the south to come fight. Hezbollah is backed by Iran. Hezbollah and Iran are Shia. They're surrounded on all sides by Sunnis. If Netanyahu stops attacking, Hezbollah can run north and fight the rebels. And Netanyahu is Putin's bitch. By Netanyahu making this deal, this goes to show you this whole, I'm all about security. I'm Netanyahu. I'm about the security of Israel, and all of that was a lie. Was a complete lie. Because right now, if you just want to talk about advantage, long-term victory, if Netanyahu was really about ending Hezbollah, he would press. They can't fight a war on two fronts. But instead, he's going to free them to go fight and live another day. Because Netanyahu can't survive peace. He's got to have his enemy. And I know you're saying, well, Paul, then if that's the case, why hand Biden the victory? You know, why give Biden the peace deal? Why not do what Trump wanted, which is wait a couple months and then do this? Putin's not Trump's friend. Putin is not putting Trump into power to make America great. Putin put Trump in power and used all of his resources to help Trump get into power so that we will fail. No, he's not going to hand Donald Trump a great Middle East peace victory, which is what Trump wanted. Trump and Netanyahu worked it out, man. As soon as Trump takes power, they were going to have a big peace deal. And Trump was going to be the guy that brought peace to the Middle East. But instead, Netanyahu handed it to Biden. And of course, that's not what Trump and them are saying. That's not what Trump and them are saying this. Oh, they're all so scared of Trump. They're all so scared of Trump that that's why they're doing this. It has nothing to do with Biden. It has nothing to do with Biden at all. It's all because they're so scared of Trump. Yeah, let me introduce you to somebody. This is Dr. David Dunning. David Dunning of the Dunning-Kruger effect. Basically, the Dunning-Kruger effect this is Dr. David Dunning. He is the one that created the understanding that stupid people, and again, Cliff's notes it, stupid people are too stupid to know they're stupid. And they're so stupid, they actually tend to think they're smart. And they tend to be arrogant. That's basically the Dunning-Kruger effect in a nutshell. That's what the Republicans are. They really believe that Trump is such a badass that, oh man, they're making a deal because they're scared of Trump, man. Oh, woo, we're bad. No, Putin's playing you. Putin needs Hezbollah free to fight in the north. They're losing Aleppo, the second largest city in Syria. And Netanyahu's going along with it. If Netanyahu was really about Israel's safety and security, this is it. This is your shot, man. This is when you destroy Hezbollah once and for all. They can't fight a war on two fronts. But that's not what he's really about. But they can't hand Trump this big victory. They can't. America brought peace to the Middle East. No, they're not going to do that. And Trump's too stupid to know and too arrogant to know Putin is playing him. They're not going to give you that, dumbass. No. So they're going to make a deal with Biden. And they're going to leave us divided, arguing about who brought peace, this, that, and the other. Nobody brought peace. The rebels in Syria brought peace. They shot their shot. They said, look, Hezbollah's tied up in the south. We'll never have a better shot than this. Go. And that's what they did. And that's why we have a peace deal. And I know there's a lot of people that are like, Paul, you're one side back the other. You support Israel, but you're talking bad about Netanyahu. I think Netanyahu is a criminal. I get so sick of people talking. I had a guy that I had to block on social media running his mouth. Paul, you support genocide. No, let me tell you something. Let me just clarify this for the new people where I'm at. Okay, I want to read a list to you. You are super smart people. You are super smart people. Let me read a list of countries to you. Vatican City, Timor-Leste, Wallis and Futuna, St. Pierre and Miquelon, San Marino, Paraguay, Andorra, Guadalupe, Guam, Malta, Monaco, Equatorial Guinea, Portugal, Martinique, Reunion, Croatia, Philippines, Cape Verde, Lithuania, Seychelles, Aruba, French Guiana, Mexico, Italy, Peru, Curacao, Slovenia, Poland, Colombia, Bolivia, Ecuador, Ireland, yada, 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 yada. What do those countries have in common? This is a test. We're an interactive audience. What do those countries have in common? What are they? I'll give you a hint. My dad back there in the picture was one. My mom and dad both. My mom was full-blooded Irish. My dad was German, Norwegian. No, not NATO. They're Catholic. All of those countries are predominantly Catholic. Catholic. All right, I want to read you another list. India and Nepal. That's the list. What do those countries have in common? Hindu. They're the only two Hindu countries on earth. That's it. They're Hindu. I want to read you a couple more, and I promise I will be done with this. Pakistan, Iran, Bangladesh, Turkey, Egypt, Algeria, Indonesia, Sudan, Nigeria, Iraq, Afghanistan, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Libya, Mauritania, Morocco, Niger, Senegal, Somalia, Tunisia, Ethiopia, Djibouti, Maldives. Yeah, Djibouti is a country, by the way. Turkmenistan, Comoros, Yemen, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Azerbaijan, Mayotte, Western Sahara, Bahrain, Chad, Guinea, Kuwait, Lebanon, Oman, Qatar, Sierra Leone, Malaysia, Gambia, Albania, Burkina Faso, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Brunei, Bosnia, Herzegovina, Mali, and the United Arab Emirates. What do those countries have in common? Islam. Those are Muslim countries. Here's the big question. Someone post for me in the chat the list of Jewish countries. Post the list in its entirety. That's right. That's the entire list. That's it. There's one Jewish state on the face of the planet. That's it. So no, I don't support Netanyahu. I think the guy's a fucking criminal. I think the guy is a warmonger that cannot survive peace. But he is not Israel. He is the radical right of Israel. There is about 60% of the Israeli people that don't believe the radical shit he believes. Some of them will vote for Netanyahu for security. But Netanyahu is not really about security. He's about continuing war. And what he just did proves it. If Hezbollah had to be destroyed, now is the time. They're fighting a war on two fronts. You have someone fighting basically on your side. But no. He's making a deal so that Hezbollah won't go away and won't be defeated because he lives off of war. But that doesn't mean that I support the destruction of Israel. I don't. But Paul, if you don't support the destruction of Israel, then you must be for the genocide. Let me tell you something, folks. Assad killed more Palestinians than the Israelis ever did. I showed you video in a prior show where he literally took a bulldozer, dug a trench in their streets, lined up Palestinians, and like a frickin' factory, mass murdered Palestinians, threw them in that ditch, bulldozed it over, repaved the street so that they can't dig the damn bodies up. I support the Palestinians. I do. I think they need to have their own country. And no, I don't support genocide anywhere. I don't like what's going on in Gaza. I don't. But that doesn't mean I'm going to be an idiot. You got so many people that just fell for the Iranian and Russian bots Yeah, I mean, there was a kid just drove me up the freaking wall. There was a kid, and I mean a kid, a freaking teenager, talking about this region like he fucking knew something. He didn't. He mail ordered a kafir, one of the scarves that the Palestinians wear, and he would sit on TikTok, and you had people that would sit there that knew nothing about the damn region, nothing about the Palestinian people, how we got here, who we are, what's going on. What is a real way forward to get the Palestinians their own autonomy, their own country, and the damn respect and dignity they deserve? They knew nothing about that, but they could say the word genocide, and that worked for Putin. That worked for Putin. And it cost us an election, folks. Don't think it didn't. And they are freaking out right now because of the people that Trump is putting into power. Muslim ban 2.0, talking about deporting Muslims. I was not wanting that. I was fighting against that. But no, I'm still getting attacked on social media because I support genocide. You don't know shit about me and what I support. So yeah, that's what's going on in the Middle East. And when you study a little history and you understand the enemy of my enemy is my friend is bullshit. It is my enemy is my enemy. And next year he might be my friend. Next week he might be my friend. And I'm going to give you one more example. Then we're going to move on to the next topic. One more example. This is going to blow your frickin' mind. The rebels in Syria. Do you know who they are? Most of y'all know the Kurds, right? Don't know the Kurds. You know who else it is? Al Qaeda. Yeah. The Muslim Brotherhood, ISIS. Same people that were fighting us in Iraq when the Kurds were on our side. We're supporting the Kurds. We have bases in Western Syria supporting the Kurds. We're giving them technical expertise. And who are they aligned with? Al Qaeda. The same people we were fighting before. And this is really going to blow your freaking mind. Hezbollah's fighting them. But who supports Hezbollah? Iran. But when we were in Iraq, just a little while ago, and ISIS and all of these same people were fighting us, who supported them? Iran. You know who understands this complex? Anthony Blinken and the people that Joe Biden appointed. He understands that. You know who doesn't understand that? The same people saying, this is happening because Trump is so bad. He's bad. Ooh, they're scared of Trump. And they don't even realize Putin has just stuck his middle finger right up Trump's butt and took away his big Middle East peace deal because Putin never wanted Trump to make America great. He wanted to humiliate us. Check. We have a rapist for a president. We have a criminal for a president. He wanted to diminish us in the world. Check. Trump wants us out of NATO. Our European allies already know the fight in Ukraine is now there. France and Germany are talking about troops on the ground in Ukraine. Yeah, they're not going to allow Ukraine to fall, and they know. And you want to know how weak Trump is? Them damn immigrants, man. We got to put the tariff on Mexico. force them to stop them immigrants from coming over the border. Yeah. Tariffs would do that. President Scheinbaum said, bring it, do it. And we'll put tariffs on your shit. We'll have a trade war and your economy will tank. Our economy will tank, but you're not going to bully us because we're already stopping people from coming across the border. We're already doing it. Look at the damn numbers, you jackass. And Putin said, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, we had a great conversation. It was a beautiful phone call. Me and President Scheinbaum we had a talk. And Mexico's really working hard. Because of me. Because of me. I'm an inspiration. You're a moron. That's why Putin put you in power, because you're a moron. Folks, I thank you for all the support. I really do. I'm very grateful for all the support that you show the show. I want to take a second. I want to ask you to do me a favor. We're about to break 100,000. Hit the subscribe button. I watched YouTube forever without hitting the subscribe button because I didn't know the subscribe button on YouTube really is just like the follow button on all other social media. You're not, when I hear subscribe, I think about like subscribing to a magazine or something like that. I don't want to deal with that nonsense. That's not what the subscribe button is. It's free. It's just a follow button. Hit the subscribe button. Let's bust 100,000. Let's do it. And we can talk more about this. It'll let you find my stuff easier. That's it. So, yeah. Folks. No, the peace of the Middle East isn't going to last. Because Netanyahu, the minute there's peace, the people in Israel are going to be, damn, you cost us a lot of money. Damn, you're a lousy leader. Thanks for the support, Phantom Pup. I really appreciate you. You're the ones that keeps the show going. You're the only reason I can afford to do this full time, bud. You and the people that support the show, and I'm grateful. And then Netanyahu, they're going to start looking at his criminal activity again, and he's going to be in trouble, this, that, and the other, yada, yada, yada. And war. There will be war again. That's just what's going to happen, folks. I'm going to tell you what we're going to do about it, but I'm going to talk about this next part first. So, yeah, Republicans, remember last week, Republicans were all like, I'm tired of the government, going back to Ronald Reagan and government's bad. Why is government bad? Some unelected bureaucrats, bad. Regulations, bad. Government telling me what to do, bad. Bureaucrats are bad. Unelected, they shouldn't be able to do that. People running them departments, fancy departments. Bureaucrats are bad. Oh, really? Because we've got an unelected bureaucrat who's not somebody that works for you, which is what the government does. Remember, all the government does is what you can't do for yourself. You can't regulate big corporations by yourself. If they want to dump all over your property, there ain't a damn thing you can do about it. They'll sue you into oblivion. You can't fight them. So the government does it for you. Well, that billionaire unelected bureaucrat that we now have, that these morons, and they get mad when we call them stupid. They get mad when we call them stupid. This guy wants to delete the Consumer Finance Watchdog, the Consumer Protection Agency. I wonder why. Well, what is this, folks? You know what this is. What is this? This is the Ford Pinto. What is the Ford Pinto known for? What is the Ford Pinto known for? Exactly right. Exactly right. That's what the Ford Pinto is known for. And how many of them blew up? Wild guess. Wild guess. Don't Google it. Wild guess. We're just going to be quick. Just throw a number out there. How many of those Pintos you think blew up? Just wild guess. Folks that aren't watching this live, they're watching on the replay. Just be patient because this is an interactive show. The live audience, these are the best people. Try to be in the live audience. These are the best people anywhere. Great people. Some people say 300. Some people say 1,000. It was 38. It was 38. 38 of them blew up. And we still, to this day, make fun of Pintos because, boom, there was actually, you remember History of the World where they had the Pinto in it, where the thing just accidentally, the truck actually, Nazi truck just accidentally tapped the rear bumper, tick, boom, blew up. Yeah. 38. 38. All right. How many Teslas do you think have caught on fire and burned? Throw that guess out. How many Teslas do you think? $232. 232. Now, we canceled the Pinto. We have mocked the Pinto for all of history, for 38 of them blowing up. 232 Teslas have caught on fire. Confirmed. 232. Now, Tesla tries to spin that, and Elon Musk tries to spin that as, well, if you take the number of miles driven and divide it that way, well, why don't you just say the number of McDonald's drive-thrus they've been to? If you're going to arbitrarily pull some shit out of the air and say, well, they're super safe because if you go by the number of miles driven, so many, only so many burned per mile. It's much lower than everybody else's because we have so many Teslas on the road. No, it's not how you, no. It's accidents versus caught on fire. Accidents versus caught on fire. That's how you measure it. There's no arbitrary the number of miles. I might as well just say, hey, how many McDonald's drive-thrus did we go to before they caught on fire versus that car? It doesn't work that way. They just arbitrarily made that shit up, and they try to say, we're the safest car on the road. No, you're not. You're literally the most dangerous. So this unelected bureaucrat billionaire wants to delete the Consumer Protection Agency. I wonder why. It's not like they're not taking action against him right now. But yet these morons, these people that get mad because we call them stupid, and I've been asked in an email very politely not to refer to y'all as the elite. They said that doesn't help. But I'm sorry. You can reason shit out. They can't. What am I supposed to call you people? What am I supposed to call you people? If I can't say you're the elite because you're the ones that can think, what can I call you? They think that a unelected billionaire is working in government for them. Duh. I like both those. Decent people. I like that. But it doesn't end there, folks. Like Billy Mays used to say, selling an OxyClean. But wait, there's more. We talked about Scott Bessent. Remember him from last week? Talked about Scott Bessent. This is one that really bothers me. Yeah, doubled down, said it. That's it. They're going to shred banking regulation. They are. They're going to shred banking regulation, and Wall Street is loving it. Loving it. Well, let's take a little trip in the Wayback Machine. Remember this? Just a way back in 2023. Yeah, not that freaking long ago. Remember Silicon Valley Bank? Yeah, Janet Yellen. This is Janet Yellen. She's brilliant, by the way. She is brilliant. 2023, Silicon Valley Bank collapsed. It did. And Janet Yellen said it collapsed because we've had tons and tons of pushback against the stress tests. And there are other banks that aren't in great shape, that aren't doing well on the stress tests. We're not going to bail Silicon Valley Bank out, period. We're not going to do it. We're not going to spend your tax dollars saving that bank that was so irresponsible. We're not. It's going to die. And it did. It's gone. It's out of here. Boom. Out of here. FDIC insured. That's it. No, you're not getting your crypto money back. And she did it as a shot across the bow to the banks to say, toe the line on the regulation. You're not healthy. Damn it. You're not healthy. You're not passing the stress tests. You're not healthy. Get in line. Do what we tell you to do. We do it for you. Forgive me. I got a little catch in my throat. Man, that's some good coffee. Tara, Josh, thank you so much. That holiday blend is amazing. I'm freaking loving it. I am loving it. You people are so, you're so kind. You're so generous. I'm going to tell you the truth. I haven't bought coffee in 3 months. You people keep mailing me so much freaking coffee. I haven't bought coffee in 3 months. I got a selection on the counter in there. Y'all keep mailing me beans. I love beans. Y'all keep mailing me beans. And Mrs. Texas Paul has containers. And she's got the different brands with the labels stuffed in the front of it. And so like we have different coffee. I appreciate it. I am so great. I am so grateful to you folks. Y'all are incredibly generous. I am so grateful. Thank you. But yeah, this just happened, folks. This is not ancient history. And they're doing it again. They're doing it again. Janet Yellen says the federal government won't bail out Silicon Valley Bank. This is not old news. That's March 2023. I wanted you to see that. Folks, the last time they did this led to the crash of 2007, where our entire banking industry came this close. We had to bail them out to the tune of hundreds of millions of billions of dollars. The last time they did this. And Janet Yellen's already telling them, your banks are not healthy. So Trump wins, the billionaires go all in to kill regulation, and they're getting it. They're getting it. They're getting what they paid for. And remember what they said last time in 2007? Who did they blame? They did. They said, well, we had to loan those poor credit black people money. You made us do that, and that's what caused the collapse. They said that. They said that out loud. And the stupids repeated it all over social media. They did. Remember subprime loans? That did it. That's what did. And it had nothing to do with subprime loans going to poor people. And it had everything to do with the rise. Remember the word flip used to mean something you did on a trampoline? It was not part of our lexicon in a real estate sense, where you had freaking, 60 Minutes did a story on a mechanic that bought 12 houses, sight unseen, with liar's loans. The banks did this on purpose. He was not a poor person. He was a middle-class person. Bought 12 houses that he'd never seen because they would buy them, put them back on the market, and get more than what they paid for. They were flipping houses. Forgive me, I got to cough one more time. They were flipping houses. People were doing it left and right. But what's worse is that mechanic could only swing, half a dozen to a dozen. Corporations were buying hundreds and thousands of homes with these unregulated loans. Remember, prices were skyrocketing, and then the bubble burst. And then we found out that the banks, it wasn't just the corporate speculation, but the banks created derivatives, which was a new financial instrument to sell risk in mortgage insurance. And they were treating it like it was a stock. So when the real estate bubble burst because of the flipping and the liar's loans, and the corporations couldn't get their money anymore, and people went underwater in their homes because home prices plummeted overnight, and your average person said, I paid $500,000 for this house. It's only worth $400,000 now. I'll never get my money out of this house. And they stopped paying on them. And we started to have mortgage defaults after mortgage default. And then all of that inventory of unsold homes out there, nobody could sell them anymore. They ended up paying more for them than what they were worth. And this mechanic didn't have the $50,000 to $80,000 per home to eat to cover, so he just let them go. And we had default after default after default. That's what happens when you deregulate. That's what deregulation means. And they blamed it on poor people. They blamed it on poor people. And here we go again. Here we go again. The corporations have already bought up massive inventory. They blamed it on immigrants in this last election, and the stupids believed them. They said immigrants are coming over, millions of them, just millions and millions and millions of them, and they're buying up houses. That's why you can't get a house, and it's so expensive. No, it's Johnny Got Rocks and his new, side business corporation that was going out buying up inventory, driving up the prices. Now, what do they want to do? Because we're looking at another collapse. We're looking at another real estate collapse. Prices have gotten so high, the markets are dying. So what are they going to do? They're going to deregulate the banking industry. They're going to slash interest rates. They're going to drive people into these markets until they can get their money out of it, and then they'll let it collapse. And the banks will collapse, and we will bail them out again. Instead of doing what Democrats do, which is the job, which is to put the banks back in line, which is what Janet Yellen was doing, and pressuring all of these banks to get their deposits and their loans and their risks all in order. No, we're just going to. You can't make the bar. Well, we'll just get rid of the bar. Instead, 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 we'll just get rid of the bar. In That's what we're doing, folks. That's what we're doing right now. Trump isn't even in power, and the deals are made, man. Jamie Dimon over at Bank of America is like, man, people are so excited for this. It's going to free up so much capital. Free up capital from where? Free it up from, oh, you mean that stuff you were supposed to hold on to make sure your bank was healthy? That you could survive a downturn without collapsing? That money's free now? That's why Putin did this. That's why he did this. No, he's not going to give Trump a big Middle East win. And no, this wasn't a big win for Trump. Just like the stupids on the Republican side, the Dunning-Kruger victims. Nobody's scared of Trump. Everybody's laughing at Trump. That was the point. That was the point. It was to humiliate us on the world stage. Check. Weaken us financially. Check. Draw us away from our allies to weaken us on the world stage. Check. Strengthen our adversaries. Oh, China's looking freaking great right now. China, Brazil, and India are just licking their chops, man. And Putin's too stupid to know he loses too. He is too stupid to know that the only reason his oligarch, sick-ass, depraved state exists the way it exists now is because half his oligarchs have money in Western institutions. And when you pull the rug out from under that stability, you lose too, asshole. China went through a real estate downturn, and they have been working on that problem for years. This isn't 3 years ago. China is coming out of this the winner. They are. China won the last election. They did. Because they have good relations with Mexico. China is not telling Mexico that they're going to invade them. You know who is telling Mexico that they're going to be invaded? Us. I'm not kidding. Remember that whole Marjorie Taylor Greene story I did like 5 months ago about her saying we need to invade Mexico? Yeah, they're talking about that again. But like this time for real. We're just going to, without permission, put troops into Mexico to fight the cartels. Yeah. You know who's not saying shit like that? China. You know what China's telling Mexico? Dude, I'll build you a port. We'll do business. I'll build cars in your country. Let's be friends. And no, it's not because China's brilliant or China's great or China's. It's because they put Trump in charge. That's what Putin wanted. I mean, we were doing great. We were rolling again, man. Best economy in the world. Relations were better than ever. Companies moving chip factories here and just, I mean, agriculture's back on the rebound again. I mean, things were just looking freaking good. Yeah, we had problems left to fix. We did. But we were fixing them. That's over. It's over. And that was the whole point of Trump. It was the whole point. And you got these billionaire radicals that think it's okay if the country's destroyed as long as their social agenda comes out the other side. Got more money than their great grandkids could ever spend. So they're not worried about it. Folks, buckle up. This is going to be a rough ride. It is. It's going to be a rough ride. But the good news is, the last time they did this stupid shit, this is what we got. Last time they did this stupid shit, this is what we got. I've talked to you about riding the backlash. I talked to you about riding the backlash. We've talked about that before. The Republicans are going to screw up. There's going to be a lot of bad shit that happens. There is. There is. But if you do what I suggest and the great ideas we come up with here together, we will come out of this on the other side stronger and smarter because we see this stuff happening. I will promise you, I will talk to you about the nuances. I will talk to you about the things that we have to be careful about. I will tell you things like prepare for an economic downturn. Get yourself physically fit. Get your mind right. Spend some time. Talk to your financial advisor and prepare, because as they screw up and as they destroy things, this is what happened last time they did this. That's what happened. A one-term senator with a funny name who was black won an election in the United States of America and became one of the best presidents we ever had. That's what happened last time. And that's what we're going to do again. We're going to make them pay. Every bit of damage they do, we're going to shine a light on it. You want to destroy the Consumer Protection Bureau for a frickin' oligarch? I'm going to scream it from the rooftops, and I'm going to absolutely film him bending you over and poking you in the butt, you Republican idiots. I'm going to embarrass you. I'm going to embarrass every one of you MAGA sons of bitches that voted for that rapist. And never let you forget. Never let you forget. You voted for the guy that shit on our Capitol. You voted for a rapist. You voted for a criminal. And look what he did. You did it. That's my plan, man. That is my plan. And at the same exact time, I'm going to be working on the Democratic Party. Right now, we don't have, this isn't, people talk about right versus left. There is no right versus left right now. There is a battle of the radical, insane, off the board right and conservative Democrats that are right of center. Folks, Bill Clinton's got rid of Glass-Steagall. Bill Clinton signed NAFTA. That's not left wing, folks. That is right of center. I don't care that they run elections and they call us commies and socialists. They don't know what the frickin' words mean. The Democratic Party today is a center-right party. It is through the right of every government in Europe. I'm going to be pulling left, hard left. Not only are we going to save and beef up Medicare, we're going to give it to everybody. Everybody will have health coverage, regardless of income, regardless of what your job is, regardless, you will have a basic government insurance policy. Now, you want to go buy something in the capitalist market to beef that up? You do it. I'm going to humiliate them for everything they fail at, and they're going to fail bigly. They are. They're already doing it. Our banks are failing stress tests, and they want to pull the regulations away. What do you think is going to happen? You don't have to be an economist to understand. So what you need to do is you need to take my advice. Drink some damn water. Get outside. Get some exercise. Treat yourself well. Get in the mind for a fight. Go to your local Democratic Party. Make the cookout real. They tried to say that bigotry is what we are. Racism is what we are. We're going to tell them, fuck you. And we're going to make the cookout real. We're going to hold on to our brothers and sisters as tight as freaking possible because that's who we are. And every time they fail, we're going to scream it from the rooftops. I told you. I told you. So this is your job. This is your job, not my job. I'm doing it. You do it. You do it in your house. You go down and next time you get gas, you take a picture of that gas pump and you post that on social media with the date. They put an oil and gas guy in charge of our energy department. What do you think is going to happen there? Let me give you a hint. Right now, you got Democrats forcing them to produce. Use it or lose it on leases. That's the deal, man. Oil companies don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. Oil companies would rather sell 500 million barrels of oil, just to make the math easy, 500 million barrels of oil at $70 to $90 a barrel than they would sell 1 million barrels of oil at 30 to 40. The profit's higher that way. Takes less money to get the same amount of money. So the profit's bigger. The prices go up at the pumps. That's what's going to happen. The oil industry is going to get what they want. That's what they want, higher prices. Jesus Christ, I want more donations. That's what I want. I want some sugar daddy to watch this show and say, I really like that guy, and I'll write me a check for $1 million. Do you think the oil companies don't want more money? For Christ's sake, of course they do. Of course they do. And you just put an oil guy in charge of the energy department. Of course it's going to happen. So prepare yourself. Financially prepare yourself. And I know there's people out there that are like, fuck, I'm tore ass. I can't. I'm tore ass broke. I feel you, man. I do. It's going to suck. It's going to suck. Well, not everybody's that way, brother. So I can't tell the people that aren't that way to just take it because you're going to have to. If you can prepare yourself financially. But get down to your local Democratic Party. Why? Because you'll already be part of the system. When it's time to act and fight and move and do. You heard me right. I told you. I'm not real happy about where Democrats are right now. I'm not. But they're the only choice going forward. You got two choices, Republican or Democrat. Democrats are the ones closest to us. You can't affect change from the outside. Get inside the house. They'll let you in. Boycott companies. Do it. Never overlook the power of sitting your ass down. Believe me, it worked for Rosa Parks in spades. It worked perfectly. Never, ever, ever underestimate the power of just sitting your ass down and not participating. These companies want to be right-wing sycophants so that they can, the corporate media is a perfect example. I saw Chris Hayes the other day doing a story, and he dared to come out of his mouth with, and the Democrats just didn't talk about this. Fuck you. All you did was sane wash Trump so that you could get this chaos. Folks, this is going to be good for me. It is. I'm going to be here every day doing this show. Lots to talk about. People, a lot of interest because there's a lot of chaos that's going to be going on. I would much rather be fishing. And I would much rather be working in my woodworking shop, not doing any of this. Things so freaking good, there ain't nothing for us to talk about. Sorry, folks. Love you. Life's just too good. But that ain't the case. And the corporate media did that shit on purpose. They did it on purpose. Because they thought they were going to make a lot of money off of this. Screw you, man. I ain't watching. I ain't doing it. I caught that clip on social media. It was posted to YouTube from MSNBC. Somebody shared it on social media, and it auto-played because I was on Threads. And that's the only reason. And I got to the point where Chris, and I like Chris Hayes. I do as a person. I would have a beer with Chris Hayes. I would. But he's part of the goddamn problem because he sat there and he said those words. Democratic messaging was just, screw you, man. We don't have a messaging problem. We have the shit you tell people problem. Appreciate the support, Kim. Thank you. We do have a branding problem, though. And this is your homework assignment. That's what I'm going to wrap it up with. Democrats have a branding problem. Our politicians are too damn nice. They are. Republicans know it. They can sit there in a debt ceiling argument and say, we're going to hurt every freaking American. We're going to do it. We're going to hurt everybody. And we Democrats are like, oh, no, don't do that. What can we do to make you not hurt everybody? And we give them a bunch of shit for their sugar daddies, and they don't get punished for it. They don't get punished for it at all because they look strong and we look weak. And people follow strength, not common sense. So my Democratic allies and compatriots and politicians take a Republican and throw him in a fucking wood chipper. Show some strength. I don't mean literally. I mean politically. Show some strength. Get dirty. People confuse aggression for strength. Stop being high-minded and say, I don't want to be aggressive because it's not the right thing to do. We're really good at messaging to each other. You people that don't want me to call you the elites, we're really good at messaging to each other. I mean, we get this complex narrative stuff. It's the stupids. They confuse aggression for strength. So that's what we got to do. Go after one of their kids politically. Humiliate them. Anyways, that's my plan. That's my plan. Go to war. Go to frickin' war. Everything they do. Ride the backlash like we're damn surfers on a wave, man. That is my plan. Your job is to get your mind right, get your body right, get your finances right, get into the Democratic Party. We've got an election in less than 1 year. You want to see the fact, Matt? I keep it at my side at all times. At all times, I got this bad boy with me. Your job is to get inside the Democratic Party. There is a local county party with local elections that are coming up. You can sway those. Those are decided by a handful of votes. A handful of frickin' votes. And you want to hear something that's going to blow your mind? I keep telling you, there's no proverbial undecided voter out there. There isn't. There's three kinds of voters. 34% voted for Kamala Harris. 35% voted for Donald Trump. And the rest didn't vote and don't vote. They're not undecided. They're just not going to be there. That's a big pool for you to go after. But you can't do it by yourself. Get in the damn Democratic Party. Do it. Call. You live in a county. In that county or parish, there's a Democratic Party. If there isn't, start one. But I guarantee you there is. They may just need some young blood, some excited people. Get out there and do it so that when we fight this, when we ride this backlash, we've got the boots on the ground to make it happen. I love you folks. I appreciate you. I will be here to fight this fight with you. I will till they drag me off to the gulag. But you got to do something, man. You got to do something. It can't just be sitting here. Please, pretty please, hit the subscribe button. Get your kid on the phone and say, look, I want you to go to Texas Paul's page and hit the subscribe button, because there's this magic thing that happens at YouTube when you cross that 100,000 barrier with the algorithm, and we will suddenly blow from 100 to 150,000 like overnight. That is a barrier with YouTube. Make it happen. Call your friends, call your whatever. Subscribe. I'm out of here. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your weekend. I will see you Sunday. I love you folks. Enjoy some Texas Cities at night.